Hey everybody! Hey George, how you doing? This is 30 minutes of awesome. I'm going to take your request for at least 30 minutes, but first we got things to talk about. And let me throw myself on the other side there. So we've got up on tap today, Microsoft and Google just announced earnings, and the initial reaction was Google popping, Microsoft dropping. I think right before I went live here, Microsoft had kind of stabilized a little bit right near where it closed. We'll pull it up, look at it, talk about it, and see where we are. So if you want to be able to submit requests when we get to that portion of the show, then you need to be a subscriber. That's the only requirement to be able to talk on the live stream, to chat with me. And if you're on a desktop, usually the show is over there to that side, and the subscribe button's right down here in the corner too while you're at it. So go ahead and get subscribed, then you should be able to chat. And here in a minute, when we get to the request section, I will take your request. Now the rules for the requests are one at a time, and wait for somebody else to get their turn before you go again, please. I'll stay till pretty much all the tickers are done. That's usually the way I roll, unless it just gets ridiculous. But lately it's been going over an hour, and that's what I do for you, because you came to see this, and the least I can do is kind of give your ticker a look at. I basically do daily analysis, so let's go ahead and jump into everything for the day. Lots of stuff to cover. So I'm going to throw myself back over here because I like to be back on that side. All trading involves a substantial risk of loss. Past performance not necessarily indicative of future results. I may be full of crap. That's what that says. This presentation here intended to be informational, educational, and fun, and is not a recommendation to buy or sell anything, financial instrument or otherwise. And if you desire that personal financial advice, you need to hire and consult a financial advisor. Now, we have a chat going on all day long in Discord, and if you want to be a part of that, it does cost money. No, you don't need to buy anything. You can just come hang out on YouTube. But if you want to buy something and come join us in Discord, it's $5 right down in the description below the video. You can come hang out with us all day. It's kind of like drinking from a fire hose. We have a lot of stuff going on, a lot of traders, and we tend to get it right more than we get it wrong. So, you want to come join the team? It's right there. All right. So, what do we have going on? ES broke above the orange resistance I talked about this morning. Oh, and if you're new here, I have a morning show that I do every morning covering what's the expectation for the day, what's happening. We kind of go through what's popping, what's dropping, and that kicks off about 9:15-ish Eastern time every single morning that the market is open. And sometimes when the market's closed, we talk about crypto. So today we were talking about this orange resistance box, and I was looking at it on a 30-minute right here. It came from the resistance we've seen for a few days now, and we were kind of hitting that resistance, dropped down before the market opened at 9 o'clock there. I mentioned if we saw it break out above that, we would probably break on out, and the target is going to be up here about 46.22, 46.23. Right in that zone is the first target. So far, we're kind of double topping, but I kind of expect it to break on out, get that extension, and then 46.40 above that. So we may see the classic pattern is for it to run up like this, and then we get a retrace of some sort. It can be just one fast candle, and then we get the extension. Very classic. Then what happens there? That's what happened there. We went sideways for a few days. All right, that's what usually happens when we get the extension. Happens over and over and over. That was the extension over here, and we did the retrace, and now we're working on doing another extension. So classic stuff, same pattern over and over and over. We can just keep grinding higher. Now, bigger picture. JT, you've been talking about this bigger picture and all the things. Well, when we pop up and look at this, we have 4,600 is a major resistance. Same kind of pattern. We popped up to the 1272. We retraced back down near the 100, and then we went on an extension. And this is a simplified SPX chart based on the daily close. How that relates to the ES? Well, ES is the futures, all right? ES has been running about 25 points higher. So if ES gets up to that 46.22, well, that puts SPX right there at 4,600. all comes together. All the plans are coming together. The target that I've been talking about for a couple weeks. Now, this is a major resistance kind of zone. We could blast right on through, but that's where we turned down over a year ago, back in March of 2022. This makes this all a 52-week high. Yeah, that's where we are. But we may roll down from here. Please be careful. We are extended. Things are extended. And not only do we have tons of earnings this week, we also have the FOMC meeting at tomorrow at 2 p.m. with a Fed funds rate, potential quarter point rate raise. Do they surprise and do more? Do they surprise and do less? No raise? Do they just hold the line, do a quarter point? I don't know. Depending on what Powell says afterwards, he can't resist talking. I mean, previous Fed presidents would just do a rate raise and walk away. He cannot resist talking, even if he does no rate raise. So we have the press conference right there afterward at 2:30 p.m. Eastern time. So 2 p.m. Eastern, if you're wondering why the heck stocks are moving, FOMC, rate change announcement. 2:30, if it keeps on going, it's because Powell's up there talking, blabbing, run his mouth. Now, it has not even been 2 years since we did the first rate raise. It's not even been 2 years. And it takes about 2 years for a rate raise to trickle through the economy fully. I'm talking about fully, full on all the way through. So they're looking at raising rates based on what happened last month, when really we're just getting into the meat of the first rate raise. So you may think that goes through the economy faster. It doesn't. It takes 2 full years to trickle through the economy. One little change. And they're sitting here, looking at, the PCE last month was, still running hot, so we need to raise the rate. It doesn't even react that fast. So I think they've got a, you could say it's the moral hazard. You could say it's the, fiduciary duty to the country to take it easy. They're raising rates at the fastest rate ever, and they might break something. They were already putting pain on the banks back in March. That situation hasn't resolved. CRE, commercial real estate, still looking like it's going to come apart at the seams. We could have another Lehman Brothers moment instead of it being the back of residential real estate. It could be on the back of commercial real estate. Now, your small and medium banks are who holds the majority of the loans on commercial real estate, and most of that real estate was invested and developed at near zero interest rates. Now we're looking at much higher rates. I mean, 6, 7, maybe even 8%. So please be careful and heed the warnings that I keep throwing out there, that we may see some next shoe drop, some next problem. All right. We are very extended. We've been on what's getting to be a historic run. We're in the top 10% of duration length, number of trading days, length of bullish runs without seeing a 3% pullback in the S&P 500. Does this feel like we should be in the top 10% of bullish runs ever? And I'm talking about the duration of this run since March 13th to now, compared against all bullish runs in the S&P 500 since World War II. We're in the top 10% of moves right now. Doesn't feel like that kind of move to me. I mean, but hey, apparently everything's peachy. Now the market can stay irrational. We could set a record. We could be the top, 0.001%. I don't think that's the kind of environment we have. We'd have to go almost 2 full years to get there. I don't think we're going to go that long without seeing a 3% pullback, but we could. We very well could. We could just keep grinding and not get a 3% pullback at all. Entirely possible. But we have the FOMC tomorrow. We have advanced GDP. We have unemployment claims on Thursday. So this is going to hit tomorrow afternoon. The market will close. Then we'll get more news before the market opens. Core durable goods, trade balance, and then the ECB press conference happens, and then the market opens. Then we get pending home sales. And then on Friday, we get GDP, in Canada, we get core PCE in the United States, we get employment costs, and we get revised consumer sentiment. All this junk coming out before we get to Friday's close. Plus tons of other things, BOJ outlook, and we get, just all sorts of news all around the world. Australian CPI coming out tonight. This stuff, this can all be market moving stuff. All right. Any of these can be a risk. Any of these can cause a freak out moment in the markets. I am cautious. All right. I'm not dumping everything long. I'm not gambling on anything. I'm just kind of sitting here cautiously waiting for the pullback. The pullback will tell me if we're going on even higher, or if this is it, we're near the top and we're going to roll over. All right. Now, how much farther could we go down? Well, first off, we have support right here where we kind of did this little mini, where we found support before a few weeks ago, about 36.20, 46 or 46, 43.30. Excuse me. Yeah, look at the pie in the sky, the 4600, 43.30, right here where we kind of came down, and that was just back a couple weeks ago, back a month ago, really, a month ago now. Yeah, a month ago. Whew, time's flying. Seems like it was just the 4th of July last week. So a month ago, we did this pullback. We ramped up. That can be support again. Now we get below that. Next level down. Right here we kind of consolidated back in May and April, May. Top of that box sitting right there. And the 618 right down here at 40.30. Right about there. So that's kind of our support levels on the way down if we get there. Next resistance above here, probably going to be the all-time high. From January 3rd, 2022, that all-time high, we could break out and go higher if we can get above this prior high. Seems crazy, entirely possible. All right, that's kind of the lay of the land for the S&P. Now, Nasdaq, big tech. We've got Microsoft, we've got Google announcing earnings. We're going to have 165 S&P 500 companies announcing earnings this week. And they could burn it down. I was looking for my earnings thing. I don't know where it went. I thought I had it right there, but I don't see it. Oh well. That's cool. Let me pull it up really quickly. Grab it off of Discord. Got it pinned right there. I pull it off, and here we go. Should have had it ready, but I didn't. Here we go. So we are looking at Microsoft and Alphabet today. We've got Snap and Visa also out there, Texas Instruments, and tomorrow before the open, AT&T, Boeing, Coca-Cola, Tilray, Thermo Fisher, Hilton, ADP, Union Pacific, and General Dynamics. Then tomorrow after the close, we got Meta, Chipotle, ServiceNow, Innovix, Quantum Scope. They make wire. eBay, Mattel, Wyndham Resorts, and then before the open on Thursday. So this will all come out after the FOMC announcement. Then this will come out right when we're getting more news. McDonald's, Southwest, MasterCard, Crocs, Valero, AbbVie, Honeywell, and then after the close on Thursday, Enphase, Ford, Intel, Roku, First Solar, T-Mobile. So lots and lots of stuff. And this is just the selection of the bigger companies. There's like 48% of the market cap on the S&P 500. 165 companies will have reported earnings by the end of the week that are in the S&P 500. And we're going to be on down the list by the end of next week too. Next week, no big economic news, but we do have lots more earnings. Lots more earnings. All right, so be careful. Be careful. Earnings can be unpredictable. Even if you think the chart should support the move, and you think the earnings should support the move, we can still get a different move than any of that. So earnings are the gamble. That was a perfect market roadmap bounce right there. Made a peak right down, touch, potentially going to break out that extension right there before the next pullback, probably 15,764, 15,800. Now, one distinct notable difference here, the S&P 500 is up here making highs. We're up here retesting the high today. The Nasdaq is way down here. The high was way up here. We're down here on the Nasdaq. Now, is this telling us that times are changing? We're getting rotation out of tech and other things, or is it the first indication that the tides are turning in the market? I don't know. I don't know yet. I don't have enough information yet. We will see. This is on my radar though. This is something I'm keeping an eye on because Nasdaq's not participating. Nasdaq's been the one, the Magnificent Seven, as they've called them, are the ones that have been charging us ahead this year. Without them, the S&P's pretty much been flat. All right. Be cautious. Be careful. Russell also not participating today, at least not in a big way. This is small caps. Small caps were rocking the last couple weeks. Now, all of a sudden, as we came up and bounced right off of that trend line, we found resistance. And we haven't done any kind of meaningful retrace off of it either. We just bounced off and then parked right underneath it for a few days. All right. We just kind of parked right under here for a few days, 3 or 4 days. That's not overly bullish and it's not overly bearish. It's just kind of a coin flip type situation. But the fact it made a lower high and stopped, that's not exactly bullish. All right, it's not high probability bearish. Now, if we did retrace, held a 618 or something like that, some sort of logical retrace, maybe back down here to around 1830, we come back down, test that, bounce up, start to break out up through this downtrend line, that would be super bullish, especially in the small caps because they tend to lead on rallies out of large market corrections. So far, the Russell has not been leading, and it's led to me to question how high we're going to go, how fast. All right, Nasdaq was leading, now it's lagging, not making a higher high today, not participating, while the S&P 500 was trying to squeak out a little higher high. Oil keeps moving up. This was a beautiful thing right here. First target, 80.70. Probably get a retrace and then a move up to this 84 area, like 83.90, 83.75, something like that. Could be all the way up to 84.50-ish, the top of that. Now, where does that target come from? The width of this wedge right here. We kind of did this consolidation wedge. The initial depth or width, or what do you want to call it right there, that sets that target right there. Typically, when we get a watermelon seed squeeze, it'll pop up or down out of there. The width of the original mouth, or whatever you want to call it, the pennant, whatever you want to call that thing. I call it a watermelon seed squeeze because when you squeeze it, you don't know which way it's going. You don't know if it's popping up or down or just out to the side. It's unpredictable. But usually, it'll move the mouth there, the original big range. So that sets a target up there around 84.50 on oil. What'll it do after that? Highly likely to pop up there, retrace back to the daily roadmap line, and then we'll find out. If it holds support there and moves on up, we're probably going on a bigger extension. Otherwise, if it breaks down, we could go lower low than we saw back here in May. All right, that's kind of the outlook on oil. Gasoline is rocking. Once it broke out, I expected it to go. We're seeing gas prices jump 10 cents a week right here in Knoxville, Tennessee. I don't know how it is where you are, but this is looking quite bullish. We get above these highs right here in any meaningful way. This high and this high I'm talking about, these two back here, we're already poking above this one. So it's looking like this one's our last resistance before we see majorly higher prices. Now, we've already drained almost the majority of the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, trying to curb gas prices, and so that Swiss Army weapon tool, that solution's not in the back pocket of the United States anymore. So watch out. We can get higher prices in the face of this wicked inflation and all this other stuff, and make the whole situation even worse than what we have right now. If you're not prepared for higher gas prices, guess what? The chart's saying we're probably going to see higher gas prices, and those higher gas prices might be significantly higher. I mean, we're talking like new all-time high up here. Significant extension. I'm saying significant extension. the base price, before we add in the taxes, the $1, $2 of taxes or whatever most of us have, like $5 a gallon. So we're talking $7 a gallon. I mean, I know California already saw that. They pay like $3 in taxes. So we're talking like, you know, $8, $9 a gallon in California. Ouch, right? Ouch. That would be pretty bad, right? But we're talking about possibly $5.70. So that'd be $6.70, you know, $7 a gallon. Not looking too sweet on gasoline here. And that's I'm not even kidding here. Like this is kind of scary actually for going higher. That was basically a measured bounce. And we're definitely talking prices up here. The $4 a gallon before we even add taxes. So $5-6 a gallon. That's what we're looking at. And it can go on an extension even higher. That scares me. It should scare you. All right, natural gas, still just messing around. This was a big trade last year, last 2 years. This year, it's not doing anything. It's not participating. It's not breaking out. In fact, that's a lower high, and it may go lower. Highly cautious on natural gas and anything like oil, UNG, any of that stuff. It's just not. It's not playing the game. It's not participating. It's just uninteresting. Became uninteresting. There's people who try to determine the squiggles. That's not my game. It's down there. It's consolidating, and it's not interesting. All right, gold futures. They're stuck in this box. We came up, tried to break out of the box, retraced to the bottom of the box, getting a little bullishness today. If we can break out of the box, positive, we're probably heading on the path up to 2200. If we break down out of the bottom of the box, we're probably coming back to retest the roadmap line one more time. That's the parameters. If we get below this stuff over here, we're going lower. But right now, I expect it to hold a higher low. If we break out of the bottom of the box, higher low, and go higher, or just break out here out of this consolidation and go even higher. All right, silver. Yeah, just a healthy little retrace back to that support resistance line. We bounce off here. I'm long-term bullish out to 2025. 35 is my target on silver. You know, 35. Really, it's my target on SLV. So, HG. This is copper, stuck on the roadmap line, and this is looking kind of bearish. Like we could easily go lower on copper. Maybe like JT. Wait, you just said gold was bullish and silver's bullish. How can copper be bearish? Well, that's what the chart says. Look, this is a giant lower high, turning down. This is a bearish pattern. And right now, my expectation, until we get above this right here, my expectation is still for lower prices on copper. And we kind of have this trend line cooking here a little bit. If we get below that at all, I'm looking down here, probably around 275 for copper. If we can break out back above this blue line over here, these highs, back above 417, it's my first indication that we're going to be breaking on above 430, and then we can start looking for higher prices. But right now, not expecting it. You know, if we do 550, possibly 614, but right now it's looking more likely we go down. And this is starting to be kind of like one of those squeezed type situations, and we could easily see this continue way on down here. All right. We've covered sugar and stuff in the past. If anyone wants that, you can request it. Otherwise, we'll touch on crypto, and then we'll move on. I usually hit crypto first thing in the morning. First thing in the morning, right there, is the 618 level. Bitcoin can easily retrace back to this 27.7 area, right in here. That's the orange box. That's where I expect it to hold support. The roadmap line right below it, down around 26,800. So right there, that's your support levels from about 28.5 down to about 27.5, and then 26.8 below that. Now, higher, since it broke out of the bottom of that consolidation, coming down here, the high probability pattern, that sets up a measured bounce. The measured bounce setting up can set it up to go back up to like 38.5. And 35.8 would be like a bearish case. Like, Ideal case up here around 38.5, possibly as high as 42, which would be kind of like where I drew this target back here all the way back in like January or whatever. So if we bounce there, it's a measured bounce. Ethereum not looking nearly as bullish. This was not a 5 up. This is actually kind of a bearish resistance here. We can push lower, and even with Bitcoin climbing, we could see Ethereum drop down into a deeper correction down here around 1450 to 1570 area, somewhere down here where I put this. I put that bubble down there a while ago. Still expect Ethereum to go down there. Still holding a bearish pattern for continuation lower. All right. There you go. All right. So now it is that time of day where I take requests for at least 30 minutes. Please, one ticker in your request and let somebody else go before you hit me again. All right. I know in the past we used to load up as many tickers as you wanted, but let's give other people a chance to make some requests before we just hit it hard. So I see CCL up there already, and rollover is what it looks like it might do. That's a heck of an extension right there. 2618 off of that move, and let's look at it one other way. Yep. That's looking. Roll this right there. Yeah. It's probably going to do 1, 2, 3. Let me check one other thing here. Yeah. Highly likely to come back to this zone right here. It may take a little while, and the roadmap line may come up and catch it. May take like that. May do that, mess around here, then bounce and go higher. And the next target up would be not a lot higher, but a little higher. So it may do that, may do that, may do arrow that again, make a higher low, and then one more little squeak out here, and that little final squeak would look like, might look like that. And then watch out, because that'll be a bigger, deeper retrace. Come all the way back down about 10. All right. That would be what that looks like. If you want to jump in on the action, you got to make sure you're subscribed. That's the only requirement. And then you can type in a request. So you make sure you're subscribed. That's the only requirement to chat on the live stream. And we'll hit as many as I can before I wrap this up. So I see, yeah, UGA. Let's take a look at that real quick. There's a United States gasoline fund. So there you go. Lisa, you could trade it with that. And it's looking like we're going to break out and run there. After a long, choppy consolidation, that's starting to look like breakout time. We're right up to the 1618. We may pop back down and go on an extension. We have much bigger extensions. This is not really a decaying asset either. So that little move, we're extending. This bigger move from that high down to this low could set us up for 88, possibly 99 on UGA. All right, ABBV, ABV. Well, didn't follow the roadmap line at all over there. So if we bounce off the roadmap line here, we can easily turn down. I would be careful. We have not made the extensions on the downside yet. That was a bearish turn down, double turn down, hold on the roadmap line, extend lower. Be a classic extension lower. Support levels 127, 118, 107. If for some reason we can get back above the roadmap line, we've got significant resistance built up here at this box. If we can get above that, we could go on extensions, but that's going to be a while. I don't see that happening for a little while. Keep coming back. If we start making bullish signs, I come back and ask me, and we can talk about the bullish case, but there's the downside case right now. All right. Moving on, XLU. That's looking kind of wedgy. Watermelon squeezy. Watermelon seed squeezy. I don't know. I don't know. Connect the ultimate highs. Not sure I'd mess with that yet. Other people might be bullish on it. Some people say that that's a sector to jump into when things are looking iffy. I'm not sure we're looking iffy. I think we're just due for a correction. I don't think we're burning it down yet. So I don't know. That one can break out. You know, remember what I said earlier? That thing can make another move after this consolidation. It can easily do that to the downside. All right. I wouldn't be so. I'm not feeling so good about that one. SPUX. That's a nice move up. That's a higher high. Hey, this is looking positive. It held the support. Moving up. That's an aggressive entry right there. Actually, it made a lower low though. That is an aggressive entry. Above that, we do have resistance right up here. We're consolidated. We did a big gap down, so that leaves a large resistance box right there. Maybe like JT, I can't see it. Let me zoom it up for you. We gap down, and we've got this consolidation. So that whole thing is resistance. This is an aggressive entry above this high, but you got a lot of resistance. If we can work up through that, yeah, targets 120, 127. All right, that's Starbucks for you. SoFi. Man, just kind of chopping. And low price stuff under 10 bucks doesn't always follow the patterns, but it did the retrace, did the extension, took a little longer, retrace back to the roadmap line. Kind of what I would expect to happen. Nothing super exciting yet. Tesla, story hadn't changed here. Expecting a deeper retrace. I talked about it. I talk about this all the time, every morning. Lots of people think it's going higher. I think it's probably going to retrace. It's that was a heck of a move. And you can make the case for that was 5 waves up. And if we can hold this area right here around, say, between 200 and 220, we hold that, it can be bullish if we break on higher again. If we don't, we could push right back down here, back to the 150 area one more time. Not convinced that's going to happen, but it could happen. If we get below that roadmap line, watch out. Yeah, it looks like we're going to come up here, test the roadmap line right up there at that resistance support. Resistance turn support. You see where it's right up there at the top? We may come reach right back down here to it. Yeah, it's right around 220 right now. All right. That would be Tesla. USO is not what I'm trading, but one thing to watch out for is the fact that we've got this running right through here, and we're just right at it. If we can get above that, target's probably up here around 80. Yeah, I don't have to make any adjustment. It's basically the same spot, right around 80. That's also the 618 retrace. Expect some resistance there. Well, that's probably not the 618 exactly. It would have been before it went even deeper. It still is, just on the underside instead of the overside. 618 comes in right there too. Somewhere right around that 79.80. Then we'll see what happens. UCO, a little different story. Similar but different. I'm expecting a move up to about 40. That was a deep measured bounce, puts it right up here around 40. The bigger pullback scenario. And that 618 comes in right there. Right in that zone. Right up there around 40. All right. Amazon. Holding up pretty well. Announcing some initiatives. I don't know if they're bullish initiatives or not. They're going to build their own satellite system and build their own AI and build a lot of their own stuff. And apparently the hype machine is not what it was when Bezos worked there, because they announced all this stuff and we didn't really move. I was kind of expecting Amazon to at least make it up to 145 by this time. Came up a little shy. I got to 135. I missed it by 10 bucks. We're back down to 130 now, and I still kind of have high hopes to see this back up here, 145 to 160 area. We're a little shy. It's going to take a little longer than normal, or than I expected. Go figure. I tend to be overly optimistic on my timelines. If you've been watching me long, you know I usually get the prices right, but the timeline is a tough thing to get right. So, still working the plan. And that doesn't look overcooked like Nasdaq or anything else. That actually is underperforming and has the opportunity to kind of catch up, even in the face of other big tech correcting. This thing has not. It outperformed to the downside, and it hasn't caught up back to the upside yet. All right. Meta. It's getting a pullback. It just missed that target price. I mean, that was dang close. And look at that. Came up, high tick, 318. I was expecting 320, so I missed it by $2, or not even $2, $1.20. I missed it by $1.20 when I said 320. So that was pretty dang close. Probably going to get a retrace back down here to the bottom of the gap, around 250. That would be my guess. We'll see. Wednesday could just push us right up into the top. We'll see. I don't have any kind of bias right now at all. I'm not necessarily bullish for it to go on up. I'm not necessarily bearish for it to come back down. I think support is right down here, where you see how it came up shy, found some resistance for 3 or 4 days, then popped on through and went on a run, almost filling the gap completely. That gap comes from the gap down back here in February 22. What do I expect to do next? Well, it's easier to predict if it does a retrace, holds support, and moves up again. I can predict where it's going next easily. Right now, probably mess around in this consolidation for a little while. Seeing it over and over on some of the big tech. All right, XLRE. It was SLR, XLRE. Not doing much. Be careful. Look at this one, ARE. Kind of still expect that one to go lower. I got a $100 target down there. It reached for it once. Back up. If it holds that roadmap line and everything, could go down to 100. So XLRE still looks kind of bad. It doesn't make me feel warm and fuzzy bullish right there. I don't. That's a sloppy pattern. That can go lower. Be careful. I wouldn't chase that. That's not a bullish pattern at all so far. It's not kind of the bullish pattern I look for. Lower low, lower low, lower low, or lower high and lower low here. Watch out. That can extend down. It's not behaving enthusiastically for getting higher prices. All right. LYV. Live Nation. That's a heck of a run. Heck of a run. Broke above that. It's kind of the megaphone pattern. Resistance would be right there. Broke out. That's just one big move up off the low. That makes me extremely cautious. We're going to get some sort of retrace off of this. It could extend higher before it does it, but at some point we're going to get an extension. We see this a lot. This move up from like March 13th low, wherever it was back here, March 13th low. One big giant move up, not really any pullbacks in between, over and over and over on the charts. everything needs a pullback. I can't really project higher prices from there. FNGU, that was on the morning monsters, I'm pretty sure. And we break down below this kind of support at 180, probably coming back to the roadmap line, possibly down to 130. Watch out below. That's 3x leverage. Leverage stuff does not always follow my patterns. Be careful. All right. PepsiCo. That's a measured bounce. That's the conservative entry for a 201 target, possibly 207. Probably do this, and arrow that. There you go. That's what I expect. What I would expect at this point. And that was got one more. Yeah. That one looks pretty good. Mara, please. Mara is just reacting to Bitcoin. Bitcoin pulling back. Most of the crypto miners and stuff like that also pulling back. It basically hit the target I was looking for. Busted up through 15, got to right at 20. Just like 19, like a few pennies away from 20. Now correcting and consolidating. It can go deeper. It can hold here. I don't have any high probability correction targets at this point. I'm just kind of waiting. And when I see something show up, like a measured bounce setup or something like that, I'll probably beat the drum a little bit. But right now, it's not really a high probability anything. We come down to this $13 area. That would be up and then turn back up. That's a super bullish sign. Hanging out right here, we can just consolidate and then go on the extension up to 30. So I'm just holding on my godzillions of shares. Control almost 10,000 shares. So AVGO, that's across my family, not just me personally. And control, I mean options and shares. AVGO just up in no man's land here. Crazy town. That's a wicked move. Wicked move. It's like something like a 20% chance we'll see it just pop up to $9.99 without retracing. Then that's without getting a significant retrace, which would be back to the roadmap line before it gets there. So lower probability the higher it goes, and that was a wicked move. I'd be protecting profits if you're long. If you're looking for a short, God help you. I don't know. It's not set up to go lower. So squeezy like wheezy. McDonald's, MCD. That's working on a breakout. Was that earnings tomorrow? Is that right? Well, Thursday. Earnings Thursday. So watch this one. If we break back down below 290, we're probably headed back for the roadmap line. We didn't really touch it before. So that resistance, this is kind of triple top now. Came up, couldn't break out, couldn't get the extension out to the 1272, which was a little tighter based on that low. So we may come down and test the roadmap line. We didn't hit it before, but we can hit it the same general area now and reset the count. Man, that was just a marginal higher high, it looks like. So maybe needing a retrace at this point. It's got a bullish look, but that's not that triple top situation. Makes me think we're going to hit the roadmap line before we can break out. So that's what we got. All right. CCAP. Crescent Capital. There is, you do see this right here. See that? See all that? That's resistance. There's supply sitting there. Whether you believe it or not, there's people that are ready to sell if it gets right back up there. Now, the market may absorb that and go higher, but there is going to be supply hit that right there. Not the most bullish pattern. That's very overlapping and gnarly. Doesn't make me get the excited, warm fuzzies. Resistance, yeah. All the resistance kind of lines up with that orange box. So if you're long that one, that's where I would expect it to find some resistance. All right. Any chance USO is going down? Probably not. Not much until we get to the upside targets on oil CL. I hit that earlier. You can rewind and go check it out. Google getting a beautiful pop right up through the resistance. The next level up. You know, we had a lot of trouble getting through this. It worked on it for a while. Now earnings popping it up above the prior high from a couple weeks ago. If we can actually continue that tomorrow, we're probably going to head on up here. If we can get the continuation tomorrow above this high, it sets us on a path to do that. This wasn't just banger earnings. They're raising the rate on YouTube Premium and a few other things. So they're going to raise their margins. And since they own whatever it is, I don't know if it's Sunday Night Football or Tuesday Night Football or Wednesday Night Football, whichever football they bought and took away from the general network, they're expecting that to be a banger for them. So coming into third quarter, fourth quarter, lots of football on YouTube. It's usually a moneymaker, especially for ads. So, FAST, Fastenal. My brother used to work there. Broke out of the downtrend. Let's see, I need this fib tool. Right there. Yeah. Resistance there and there. We've got these highs from over here. Maybe up to that 61 area, 62 area. Maybe. I don't like the way I don't like that. That was non-committal, and there was no power move coming out of that. That was very choppy. And we're right at the 1618 there. Retrace back to the 1272. Could get extensions. It's sloppy. I need a bigger retrace to clear some of this junk out. That was very overlapping right there. It just looks like static. Looks like a scribble up through there. Snap. That one's also reporting earnings, and ouch. It's not been a very bullish chart. And who uses Snap? Does anyone on this chat, does anyone on this live stream use Snap? I have never used Snap. I know Kimberly watched something on Snap, but that was a while ago. I don't even think you have it on the app on your phone. Does anybody have the app installed on their phone? Nobody. Nothing. Snap is seems like dead money to me. All right. Nobody. Crickets. Rick says, how do I find you on Discord? You know what? You become a member. I reserve Discord for paying people. It's just the way it is. If you want to chat with me, I give you a lot of my time, all day, all night practically. And if you want to chat with me in Discord, you got to buy the roadmap. It's like $5 deal down below. $5, come on. And in fact, you can upgrade to like 15 months for like $19 more. So you get like $24. You get 15 months of market roadmap. And you get in Discord. And even after the time's up, I don't kick people out of Discord once you buy something. So, right there. There you go. And if you've already bought something, you're like, what are you talking about? Go to the members area. Members area has instructions. If you're still not sure, contact support. We'll get you in there. All right. If If you're just not getting service, come back, let me know on YouTube. I'll help you find somebody that can help you. ALB, that looks pretty bad, looks pretty bearish. I'm not feeling it. I don't even hear anybody talk about Snapchat, so that's to me that's an indication that it's a dying platform. It's kind of like, when's the last time you heard anybody talk about MySpace? That's looking like bearish. It's not really a dumpster fire, but it's not looking overly bullish either. I had a target down here that we didn't hit. We came up, tried to break out, and failed miserably. If we can hold it and break back up, that's positive. If not, watch out. That can go lower once again. All right. That was ALB. I don't even know where I picked that up off of. Don't even see it anymore on the chat. And CZR. Caesar's Entertainment. Finally poking up through the resistance here. Had resistance all the way across there. Finally poking up through. Let's see what we got. See what we got. Potential to rally to 72, which would put it right up where this consolidation was. Oh, missed the box. Right there. Yeah. Pretty fair. Could easily do that. I mean, it dropped very quickly down from that area. Could rally very quickly back up to that area. Then I would expect it to find some resistance. Is it one of my high probability trades? No, this doesn't look like one of those. Like Boot was one of my high probability trades, and that one's not done yet. I still have more higher expectations out of that. ABNB was hitting a 52-week high today. Still have much loftier expectations out of that. Right, these are high probability type setups. These other ones, don't trade garbage stuff, you know. There's plenty of stuff that looks awesome you can put your money onto. You don't have to chase garbage. All right. Anybody tells you, oh, this hot thing, you should invest in gold, you should invest in silver, you should invest in utilities because, when the market all burns down, blah, 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 blah. When you hear it on TV on a commercial and the people at church are talking about it and you've never heard people at church talk about trading stocks before, for God's sake, be careful. All right. Getting off my soapbox there. So, all right. See, Microsoft, that one was going down. Now we're just flat. They got cleared to do their deal with Activision, and they decided to charge an extra $30 a month for access to OpenAI, ChatGPT in Microsoft Office 365, whatever. And they got a pop, and then they're just stuck in on like this channel looking thing. It's kind of like missed the button. And it's kind of like a channel. Poke out, we get slammed right back down. Try to poke out, get slammed back up. So it may rally up, but if it breaks down below this channel, watch out, baby. Roadmap line down here around 300. 50-point correction. All right. Main. That looks like a lot of sideways. Lower high so far. That's just consolidating in the range. Look at that range. That's got nothing going on. Big old fat nothing. OXY. Could break out of this, but that's not overly positive right now. Continuation lower might be what we see here. This is lower highs so far. That doesn't have to go higher with oil. Remember, oil stocks and oil are not the same thing. Oil companies, not the same as oil. I don't care how many shares of Occidental Buffett has bought. He's like authorized to buy like 50% of the company, I think. He picks it up every time it hits 57. It rallies up. That's why we keep seeing lower highs. Warren Buffett buys, spiked, comes back down, he buys more. 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 Eventually, he's going to own like 50% of the company. Delta Victor November, DVN, stuck at the roadmap line, not overly positive. I'm not sure yet. Like, that's not feeling, it's not tickling my bullish fancy here. Still kind of expect another flush out in oil stocks, even in the face of higher oil. All right. Bot Discord, but can't find you. Well, it's in the members area, my man. ADSK. Go to members.jeffreytrader.com. Somebody, let's see. Let's just stop and put members.jeffreytrader.com right there. Go to there. You put a HTTP in front of it. If you log in there, there's instructions. If you can't log in there, that's a support problem. All right, ADSK looks like a big sideways blob of junk right here. The range from back there, and we're just stuck in the middle of it. I mean, look, it hadn't even done anything since December or August. A year, practically a whole year, done nothing but chop in this box. Why would you chase this? I mean, you can make good money trading the top and the bottom, but it's low probability and it's gnarly. Don't chase this stuff. All right. So, Wrongimer, you're the only one that uses Snap. I've never even done anything on Snap. It's just I don't know. It's never been a tool that I know how to use. Of course, I'm not on Twitter. I do get information off Twitter. I don't get on Twitter. I've never really been a Facebook patron either. I am here on YouTube, and tend to keep to myself. That's why you don't, like, if you Google me, there's not a whole lot that comes up, because I've been on the internet since '94. Still got my same screen name even. So it's like, I've even got an email address that I've had since high school. Yeah. It's wicked. It's got like 3 dots and it's like netcom, whatever. Anyway, I've got that email. It's older than most people's email. In fact, my Gmail address is one that I got invited. So, been on the internet a long time. I learned early to keep a low profile. Don't get involved. So, customer service number 888-203-6792. Yeah, ICQ. I got a 6-number ICQ number. But that's not really social media. That was just it's kind of like Discord's like fancy ICQ, kind of. It's like IRC and ICQ mixed together. That's what I would say. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, you have not been on the internet as long as I have. All right. Let's see. There's ADSK, a hot mess. Yeah, I can write the number for customer service in the chat. 888-203-6792. Right there. There you go. Those lovely people will do their best. Ask for Gustavo or Liz. That's the 2 people that I know can help you the best. Other than that, your mileage may vary. YMMV. All right. HLT. Is that Hilton? Hilton Worldwide. Stuck at the resistance. May retrace the roadmap line. That's getting choppy. That's very overlapping. That's not bullish. If we top out here, we could go lower, and that's getting like the moves are getting smaller. It's running out of steam. Bigger retrace, maybe in order. That would be a diagonal of some sort in Elliott Wave speak, unless it's a whole bunch of nested 1-2s, which it does not look like. can result in a deep retrace, possibly the 78 or 786 or even the 88. What is it? 88.2. It's not a common one I use. I don't like the diagonals, so I don't keep it on. Yeah, I don't even have it in here. It's like an 88.6 or something like that that sits right down here near the 100 that gets hit a lot on diagonals, but that kind of looks like a diagonal to me, and for gosh sakes, be careful. If we can break out over this prior high area where the resistance was, then we can go higher. Oh, market's back open. It is 6 o'clock. Futures are back open. All right. QTRX. I got a little more energy than I had last week. I was kind of worn out last week. I guess that hour-long meeting with legal today put a pep in my step. Anyway, that's the resistance. We're right up to it. Probably going to retrace the roadmap line would be my expectation. And then go for the test of resistance. That'd be what I expect. Might not do the retrace, but it may just sit here and grind up in here. Similar to the way what Meta did. See how Meta sat right here and then ground up in there. And MFLX, Netflix. If it finds support here, it can go for that 500. It came up shy. Oh man, that was close too. You gotta be kidding me. Both Netflix and Meta got right up to the target. At 45, missed it by 15 points. So it's still got some room to go to 500. That may have been the recharge it needed. Could go just a little lower. Expect it to kind of hold this bottom of the box. Then go for the pop. Go for the full gap fill. Same gap that Meta has from back here in January, February 22. Alrighty. SCCO. SCCO. Yeah. I mean, copper companies, again, copper miners, the miners are not the underlying. So these things don't have to be correlated. Like it doesn't make sense in a lot of people's mind. The companies that mine copper, like FCX, SCCO, things like that, these can be more bullish while copper is bearish. Like this is actually starting to look like we might break out. Goose, I know you, Dave Goose, I know you love this one. Could be breaking out while copper is not even looking like anything. Copper's not breaking out, so FCX can just move by itself. All right. QQXT, that sounds like an over-the-counter bulletin board thing. First Trust. God, that looks gnarly. I don't know how you do anything on that. There is significant resistance right up here. X Technology. I would mess with that chart that looked like that. That's not my kind of cup of tea. Now, looking at the micro there. Extensions 1618 right up at that resistance, may come up there and turn down. Kind of poked through the 1272, didn't even really retrace. It came up to 100, retraced, popped right up, didn't even like maybe get a little baby retrace, may park here for a couple days, a couple weeks, then go for that final. I don't know. That 86.94 would have been my target. 89 is the extension target. That's like 70% likely to hit that price. It's only like 40% likely to hit that price or something like that. It starts dropping way off to like 40% up here, maybe 30%, 20%. Like time you get way up here, it's like 1% likely to go all the way up here. That's without getting a big retrace back to the roadmap line. You know, ridiculous stuff like Nvidia doing that kind of move. All right, Ollie's, O-L-I. Ollie's Bargain Up. That's what I thought. Ollie's. My dad loves this place. It's like his new favorite place to blow a bunch of money. Yeah. Can't say it's overly bullish, but that big three-wave thing, that was like a bunch of crap. This is a bunch of crap. That could be an ending diagonal. That's a three-wave. That's like an A wave, a B wave. That could be a C wave, and then we could get an extension lower. I don't like this for bullishness. And it may go up to 85, may go up to 101. If it does, watch out below. It can come up here and it can go lower low. That's very, like Beth, you always wonder like what some of these corrections look like. Look at this right here. I know you're still here. You see how that was like that almost looked bullish. I mean, it looked like a bullish pattern. That's probably an A wave. This is probably like an A, a B, and a C. You see how that's gnarly? That's a three-wave-ish, and then that's very sharp. That's probably an ABC. And this is probably an ending diagonal of some sort, is what it looks like to me. May come up, it could get up as high as 85. Then I would expect this to roll over. This is why I'm cautious on some of these overlapping scary things. This one's kind of clear. This one's more clear than they usually are. I don't like trying to figure those out. And that looked like an A wave. This would be a B wave, and then we get a C wave down. How low can she go? Like that would be the A. Oh, come on, fib tool. This would be the A wave. This would be the B wave, and the C wave would take it right down there. So this is a subwave of a bigger correction. You were asking me about this kind of stuff. And then that would be like an A, a B, and a C right there. Where like this can top way up here even. It doesn't matter. It would, and this is probably gonna take like out here in a 2025 or something. Could go fast, but it's probably gonna be like way out here. All right, PHM. I'll hit a couple more and then we're gonna wrap this up. I got a client that has a network problem that I need to go see if I can put their wireless Ethernet back up. Bet you didn't even know wireless Ethernet was a thing, did you? Like a 600-foot run of wireless Ethernet. It's like a network cable that runs through the air. That's straight up. I got nothing. I mean, the little bitty pullback in there didn't even get to the roadmap line. So. Got nothing for you. I'm sorry. That's doesn't fit any patterns. That's just grinding higher. It's just a grind higher. It's at the 1618. That's why it stopped. Stopped right there. I would expect a retrace. I mean, I expected a retrace from the. Look at that. It was super bullish too. Oh man. Didn't even make it back to the like. Came up to the 1272, retraced, didn't make it back to the 100, out to the 1618. Be careful. If you go to 91, I would expect a retrace back down to here before it did, though. It can keep climbing the fib ladder. I mean, it can keep going. It's unlikely, but it can keep going. All right. Hit Rio, and then that'll be it. So I'll pick you up, Craig. And hate to end. I'm going to do Apple after this because this looks like a gnarly chart. Resistance up here, support down here. We're just kind of chopping in between. And so the resistance 73 to 75, 76. Then Apple. Yeah, look at that, just grinding out. My bigger target was 199. I sold my shares at 198 or 7 or whatever it was. The day after it touched 198.99, I sold my shares. I do expect this to get a retrace. That was a wicked move. I mean, it barely pulled back even in March. Like it just went trucking from the low in January right up to the extension. I expect a retrace before we get any kind of future extension out to 219. That was one giant move up. Nothing. All right. You can come in the morning if or rewind. Just pull the slider back. You got the entire replay right there. FNGU was on there. So go watch the replay, and I'll see you guys in the morning. I'll be live 9:15 for Morning Monster. I couldn't remember what it's called at the second. Morning Monster. I will be live about 9:15. Talk about what's moving for the day. Talk about how Microsoft and Google might open, along with all the other earnings coming out in the morning. So have a great day. Stay safe out there. Oh, look at that. I'm leveraged. Stay safe out there. The account you save may be your own. I'll see you in the morning. Bye for now, everybody.